we're gonna do this. We're gonna
Let's hear it, man. What
Oh
you
wait,
got?
can I still do it? I got an intro. I'm gonna play.
Oh, let's go.
All right, so let's start the show. Boom.
Let's do it.
All right, you see that? So my man Pat made that.
Let's go,
You like
Pat.
it?
Pat Reeves. That was powerful, man. I like that.
Yeah, but he left me today. I had a podcast right before this, and I got this show, and he had a trip. He's going to New York City to his friends in a band. He's got some show or something. I was like, all right, man, whatever. But
So you're there
Nick,
alone today, holding it down, huh?
I'm holding it down. But yo, so thanks for coming on. You got a beer?
A beer? Of course, man. For you, anytime.
Stella,
We'll
fancy.
do cheers.
Boom. All right, let's take a sip.
Cool, bro. Let's do it.
All right, so tell me about yourself. Who are you, Nick? I barely know you at all.
I'm a stud, man. I'm a stud. No, first of all, man, before I jump into that, I just want to acknowledge that I appreciate you reaching out. I noticed all the great things you're doing, really getting a good message out there, and I love how you're always looking for new data. So the fact that you have me on today, I certainly appreciate that.
Hell yeah, for sure.
But yeah, man, with regards to myself, right now I'm a director of sales at a partner at a media company. I direct a team of 10, all outbound sales teams, so we're just hitting the marketplace every day. Aside from that, man, just doing my own thing, helping as many people as possible, giving as much value as possible. Really, I found myself in a position I really didn't know what I wanted to do in life. And really, when I discovered sales, it changed the game for me. Everything changed. So really just trying to help other people find that passion as well. And
Dude, I think
thankfully,
that's
I'm going to be able to do it.
I love that. I think the term media company is like such an interesting phrase because it could mean so many different things.
Yeah.
I know you're doing the sales. We'll talk about that. But like the company, it's like what's the company's product?
That's a great question. So again, full digital marketing agency. We mainly reach out to businesses and or people of influence.
Okay.
And we get them
digital marketing.
That's right. So we'll get them featured in articles of press and publication on their name. We also build websites, advertise, SEO, all that. So we're a one-stop hub if you're a business or if you're looking to blow up. We're the guys.
That's awesome. So a media company can be somebody who makes content for other people. It can be like what you do. It can be like, an agency that like helps with marketing and SEO and stuff like that. It could be like a content machine, like Barstool Sports. Like a media company is such a like general phrase, media company. And like, it's funny. Really I mentioned that because like, I've been doing this podcast. I have my other friend doing a podcast that we're producing, and I'm kind of like dipping my toes into. I have this space. I'm trying to like kind of make like a media company in a way, but it's going to be content production, podcasts, articles, blogs. I'm just in the early stages, but that's what it means to me. But yeah, dude. So you do sales. You hit the phones.
Sales. You see these headsets, man? Of course, I hit the phone.
My first job ever. Graduated college. I wanted to start a business, but I got a job first, and it was a sales job, and it was on the phone. And I used to go door to door in college, and when I said that in the interview, they immediately hired me. They're like, "Oh, you went door to door?" Like,
I don't mean to cut you off. Take it back a minute.
Yeah.
What were you selling door to door? Because that's kind of where I started as well.
In college, I had this job. It was like $15 an hour. It might have been $10 an hour. I forget, but I was going house to house. And I was selling painting estimates, like painting, like people like this. It was CertaPro painters. Shout out to CertaPro painters. We basically would like CertaPro, baby. They needed to get their house painted or whatever. Like I would try to see if they needed their house painted inside, outside. And where I really found a niche in that job was power washing, because I could see if a house needed to be power washed. So I would knock on the door and be like, hey, over there, I see like guys could really use a power wash. It was like a less of a sale, but it was still like a sale. So I would do the
Yeah,
power
you
washes.
were just looking for some
Dude,
low hanging fruit, man. You're in college. You're looking to
exactly.
survive, man.
Exactly. And dude,
That
the skills that going door to door taught me were like insane. Like the
yeah,
first of all,
incredible, man.
the awkward encounters after awkward encounter after awkward encounter. And then you
Yep.
like there's someone 3 doors down and they're doing their lawn and you kind of catch eyes with them from a distance and it's kind of awkward. You just got to be ready to sell, baby. You got to be in that zone. You used to go door to
Yeah,
door?
I hit door to door as well. Yeah, I was funny. I was in college as well. I was actually studying marketing, and I was always sold on like the idea of like a side hustle. Like, dude, I just want to bring in some income while I'm trying to survive as a student. So, what I did, I actually reached out to this old landscaping company I used to labor for, and I was like, hey man, let me try to drive some sales for you. And what I did, I went in and just started banging door to door, hitting doors, hitting doors, hitting
It
doors.
wasn't even
Go ahead.
a job. You kind of created it. Like,
Yeah, so go ahead.
yeah, like it wasn't necessarily like you thought of it. It was your idea.
It was my idea. It was my idea. I was always in
That's
love with
awesome.
the idea of just like some type of side hustle, some type of side income, right? So obviously, like I said, in school, man, you're just in survival mode. So he'd drive us out, we'd deploy a team, like his team would go work on a house, and I would just bang the area, just bang, 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 bang. And again, dude, not much luck at first, but over time, I actually started driving a lot of revenue for this company. Long story short, he can I swear on here?
Fuck no.
Okay, fuck, thank God. Yeah, long story short, the fucker burned me, but the great part about it was I really learned how to like I really had the cognition of, hey man, I can actually be in control of my own income. My efforts are gonna directly correlate to my paycheck. I didn't get a pay out of it after it was all said and done, but the skill I learned was invaluable.
You didn't get
So
paid at
from
all?
dude, not a fucking dime, dude. Not a fucking dime, man. I went backwards. I think he picked up like 20 jobs off me, and he was just like, you know what? Thanks for the jobs, kid.
Dang. Dang.
But you know
But
what?
you learned.
But I learned. But I'm glad, and I'm glad it happened that way. So from there, man, I found every time I was on the doors, I would always like keep an objections log. I always write down, man, what objections am I hearing throughout the day? And thankfully, one of the first big pillars in my life was my uncle. He was selling telecommunications. And really, anytime after a tough day on the doors, I would go to him, like, dude, this guy told me he's not interested. This stopped the sale. This happened, dude. What would you do to handle it? So, again, he was always giving me a little bit of advice on sales, and he had an opening in his company selling
Okay.
telecommunications. Through that, he tells his boss, he's like, look, man, my young nephew's always coming to me with questions about sales. I think we should give him an interview. So I get called into the telecom. Meanwhile, I'm still in school, man. I'm still just trying to
Yeah.
make it, but
Where'd you go to school?
just a local little community college.
Okay. All right. So you're hustling.
So
And all right. So you got this job, I'm assuming?
actually, they turned me down. They went with some other guy who was like had more experience, but he actually fucking didn't take the job. He was like, "Look, I'm gonna go do something else." So I'm just chilling at some girl's place back in the day, and I get a call, and they're like, "Hey, we actually want you to start with the company." Fuck yeah, let's roll, baby. Let's roll. Let's roll. So I literally just dropped the college because like I knew I could actually leverage this sales skill. I knew I could make some good money. And while I was studying, I really looked at like, dude, after I get this marketing degree, what's the average pay? And people are making 60, 70 grand a year. And I was like, dude, fuck that shit. I gotta go make my own
Yeah.
money, right? So I went in with the telecommunication companies. First month crushed it. Did like 60 products, made 10K, which was good for someone who just
Yeah, just
came out of
starting.
college,
Yeah.
right? Just came out of college, right? So just that happened. Next month, crushed it. Did 90 products. Next month, did 120 products. Then my fourth month, dude, my graph was like this: boner graph, boom, dropped the fuck off. And I was like, dude,
Why?
like what the, dude? That was a great question. I didn't know because again, you don't know what you don't know, right? I had no idea. So then my boss was like, hey man, you should read this sales book. You should go out and read these books. So I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll give that a shot. And I go to this local bookstore called Chapters. I don't know if you guys have it over there.
No, never heard of it.
Anyway, it's a dope little bookstore. So I pull up to this bookstore, dude, and I'm scanning through these books, and I stumble upon this bad boy right here.
I
This
never read
guy
the
right
book,
here.
but I know Grant Cardone.
Dude, I'm gonna send you this book after this one for sure. This
All
one,
right.
and then I'll shoot it over to you. So after this call, you let me know. I'll
Oh
send it over
yeah,
your way.
that book I know a lot more about.
You give
The
that one a read?
10x rule. I did. I didn't read it. I didn't buy it, but I like watch YouTube videos about like summaries of it. Like I kind of, it's one of those books I kind of like learned about without reading. So I know it's not
All
the
right.
same. I'm a big reader, but I know the idea of the book.
Yeah, it's a good one, man. It's a good one. So again, I don't mean to just go off on a big tangent and just keep riffing,
No,
but
whatever.
okay, cool, man, cool. So I'll go and pick up this book, and dude, immediately just start applying everything I learned. And then I actually found out that he had a sales training program that he promotes within this book.
Yeah.
$1,000, sign in, and dude, my numbers start to skyrocket. Like I'm inside his training, I'm reading these books, dude. I'm going to sleep listening to him. I'm waking up listening to him. I'm taking a piss, dude. I'm listening to him, right? So then, dude, my numbers just start blowing up, and I get to a point in my job where it's like, dude, we need to bring in more people to almost free up my time.
Deal. Yeah, it's awesome.
You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
the company at the time, they wouldn't really facilitate that. They wouldn't do it. Again, I guess it was because I was so new. They weren't really they were content with what I was bringing in, but I knew I could get more.
Did you have like so many leads that like you needed other people to help you attack them, or did you need people to help you with like the details, and you just wanted to make calls?
Yeah, exactly that. It was just like, dude, after let's say you want a business, I sold you 15, 20, 30 mobile phones. Dude, I'd have to run over and fucking set up 50 phones. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So like
So
that
you
would
wanted
take a
someone to
lot of
help you with that so you could sell.
yeah, man. Just I was like, guys, just hire someone on part time, just installing phones. Dude, they'll be happy, man. They'll have a good time. But they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. So I was capped, and I was capped for about 5 months. And I was like, fuck, man, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'll never forget. It was a late evening. I was just sitting back in my bed, and I was just scrolling on Instagram, and I scroll down. There's an ad, and it's Grant Cardone on Instagram, and he's like, he literally says this word for word. He's like, if you're capped at a current job and you're looking to increase your sales, he's like, dude, you gotta just apply here. So I'm hype as shit, dude. I sent like 6 selfie videos, and some guy messaged me back. He's like, unfortunately, you live in Canada. You're gonna need visas to come and work in the U.S., and we can't facilitate that. It's like, damn.
You're from Canada?
I am. I'm a Canadian. Eh?
Hey, hey,
Eh?
Canadian, eh? All
How
right.
about yourself?
I'm a fucking American, baby.
Oh, really? I like that, man.
Yeah.
Whereabouts? Whereabouts you at?
I live in Charleston, South Carolina, but I'm from Philly.
Oh, nice. Home of the cheesesteak.
Where Yeah, man. Like I always actually I mean, I don't want to get too off topic, but like cuz I have a couple questions from what you just said. But like I'm also very interested in Canada. Like you know Philly's home of the cheesesteak. You know Charleston, South Carolina?
Uh, somewhat, man. I'm sure I've banged some
You
cold
know
calls there, but never been.
You know South Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like south of North Carolina if you don't know. But
Okay.
like where where in Canada do you live? Do you live close to the states, or are you more up north?
Very close to Seattle. Yeah, I'm over here in Vancouver, so
Seattle.
roughly
Okay,
an hour.
Vancouver.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Vancouver's kind of Americanized a little bit. They used to have an NBA
Very.
team. Did they have a hockey team?
They do. The Vancouver Canucks.
All
Well known
right.
for hockey.
So like so you don't sound that Canadian to me. You're like here's my like question about, and we're gonna go
Let's
back to
hear
the
it.
sales stuff because I have questions. Do like
Sure, sure, sure.
I'm all right. You know how Americans are like cocky, think like America's the best, and like love America and shit. Like I do. Like, do you? I don't know. Do you like wish you're American, or like you might not admit it, or like I don't know. Is there like you know what I mean? Like, do you wish you were American? Uh, You could be honest.
uh, I know I gave this link to a good few Canadian friends, but yeah, in a sense I do.
All right.
Especially if
Like I
you're
mean,
looking to make a place.
if you like Grant Cardone and you're a go-getter salesperson and you're in Vancouver and you sound like you're probably like America's the shit, right?
Yeah, America's up my alley, dude. I call the States every day, so.
Okay. So it's like
They're
basically like
direct,
kind of
man.
your world.
They're just cutthroat. Like Canadian, like don't get me wrong,
You
love
love
my
Canada,
Canadians.
of course. Yeah. I
But
love
dude, they're
Canada
doing
too, man. Great country.
yeah, but like they're known as being those nice guys. So like relating back to the business world, it's like, dude, they'll give you time just because they're nice, dude. And like
Yeah, and
you
then you're
really don't
wasting your
know.
time.
Yeah, dude, at least an American, he's like, hey, dude, go fuck yourself, or he's like, hey, dude, let's just roll. You know what I mean?
It really, really is like, and I'm asking, nice is nicer. It's nicer in Canada. Like people are nicer.
Yeah, I would say so.
And that's there's a lot of good to that. I'm nice. I like being nice. Nice is important. But sometimes niceness will like screw everything up because everyone's trying to be nice and you're wasting everyone's time. And like that's from a sales perspective, but also just like life. Like
Mm.
being nice is important, but like I mean, you want to get to the point a lot. Like it's more effective, more efficient life.
Yeah, exactly, man. And in a sense, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. What you just said there is because, like, hey, man, you want to be nice, but what comes with that is, again, the opportunity cost, which is time. And if you live by the old adage that is time is money, dude, I think the best way to, again, show someone you care is to make the best use of their time.
Yeah, I agree. I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
That's very American. That's very American of you. All right, so let's get back to the sales. All right. I have a question because I don't do B2B sales at all anymore, and I've never
Okay.
been happier. We
Okay.
did about we did 5.5 million in sales last year. My company, we're gonna beating it this year. I have 17
Mhm.
employees. I sell e-commerce stuff. I like
Nice.
selling online, but I understand this sales word. So you said you made a list of objections, right?
Yep, that's
I
correct.
understand from making phone calls, like, about the objections and the answers to objections, like, when you made your own list early on in your days of objections, like,
Mhm.
was that natural, or did you, like, hear somewhere to do that?
It was like full transparency, man. It was just natural. It was just,
Yeah, that means you're in the right area, you're doing the right thing for you, right?
yeah,
Because that's such a
absolutely.
salesman thing. Record the objections, think
Mhm.
through what the responses are, memorize them, and then get back to the sales pitch, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. And it allows you, it gives you the ability to predict. And like when you really start to like be able to predict situations before they occur, that's actually an indication that you're kind of stepping into a form of, almost in a sense of mastery. Like Michael Jordan did an interview. He always talks about how he could predict a play even before it happened. So I just try to apply everything like that to the sales game. You know.
I'm going off topic again a little bit. Have you ever read the book 48 Laws of Power?
Robert Greene, I haven't. I have what one of our executives are actually reading it right now. So after he's done with it, I'm sure I'll pick it up.
I had Robert Greene on my podcast a couple days ago. Hasn't even been released
Yeah,
yet. Dude,
congratulations on that, by the way.
dude, I thank you because like he is my favorite. When I started my podcast, like 110
Mhm.
episodes ago, like I was like, if I could have a couple guests, my top guest would be Mark Cuban and like I don't know the exact list, but Robert Greene's on there, dude. His
Mark
books are
Cuban, Robert Greene, Nick Williams.
Nick Williams. That's basically the list. That's the list.
I appreciate that. But
And
yeah,
you're not
continue,
on this.
continue.
This isn't the podcast. This is Dream Grow Rich. This is a different show. Let's take another
Yeah,
sip.
I got you. I got you, man. You gotta keep up.
Oh, come on, dude. Let me show you with my camera. I got all these beers ready to
I'll
drink.
tell you one thing. You probably won't outdrink a Canadian. That's for damn sure.
Bring it on, Canadian. But Robert Greene, I had a reason to bring that up. Robert Greene, you said about mastery, and that was one of his other books. One of his other
Yeah.
books was called Mastery, and it was talking
Mhm.
about becoming a master of. He has 6 books. One of them's with 50 Cent. I don't really count that one. He has 5 books, and I read all of them, and they're incredible. And Mastery, that's one of his books, and it's basically
Mhm.
about like it takes a lot of time. You have to go through boredom to become a master of your craft. And obviously you have to go through obstacles. But I like the fact that he
Yep.
talks about you have to go through boredom because if you want to be the best at that thing, eventually after a couple years you're going to get bored of it, but like you got to keep going to become a master of it. But
Yep.
anyway, back to objectives, right? No, sorry,
The objections.
objections. Like
Sure.
my first job, It was like
Mhm.
$40,000 a year right out of college, and I ended up quitting it to start my business. But like they had us memorize the script. I'm sure you guys have a script.
We do, man. Look, I'll show you. I won't open it though,
Yeah,
because that's gold in there, man. I'd have to
it's top
charge you for
secret
that one,
stuff.
but yeah,
It's top secret
there's
stuff, and
there's, there's a good ass script in there.
it's related to your industry. But
Yeah,
basically,
exactly.
you have your pitch, and then
Yep.
somebody gives you a reason that they don't want to buy it, and then you have an answer for that reason,
Sure.
and then they give you another reason, and you have an answer for that reason. So you're like the power on a B2B call is overcoming those objectives. Is just like objections. I'm like I'm drunk. That's okay. Overcoming those overcoming those objections. Like
Sure.
it basically the end of the call, you want to put somebody in the position to be like, all right, fuck it. I guess you're right. I'll buy it.
Mhm.
That's essentially the idea, right?
In a sense, like it's funny, man, because like the cold call on a B2B call is you have such a small window for opportunity. You have such a small window to grab someone's attention. Keep in mind,
Dude,
dude.
I mean, by the way, let me ask you a question real quick. This is on
Sure.
topic.
Yeah.
You get people to answer the phone these days because it's I guess if you're calling businesses, they might have receptionists and they call them a gatekeeper, I believe. Like
Yeah.
you get like that is one of the hardest things now more than before, like getting someone on the phone, the right person.
Yes and no. In a way, like how I would handle that, I would just simply envision that he's my best buddy, and I'm just calling him up just to simply talk to Sean. I wouldn't say, hey, Lori, it's Nick here at Cormier Media. Can I speak to Sean Lowry, please? I'd be like, hey, Lori, it's your guy, Nick. You shoot me over to Sean.
Dude, if someone called my company, there's no chance they're getting me.
I get you for
Do you
sure.
think you could? Oh, you get
I
me for
get you.
sure. All right,
I
all
get you
right.
100%.
I mean, we're a small ass company. You'd get me. All
Yeah,
right, I respect that. I respect that.
yeah, but again, I cover you up in multiple ways, man. If I can't get through to you, like keep this in mind. Like the harder somebody is to get to, the easier they are to sell. And why that is because there's so many people in place to prevent this person from having their time wasted. So when you can finally get in front of them, they're like, okay, hey, maybe this guy got something for me. You know what I mean? So like, there's no perfect one way to get to someone. It's multiple ways. You know, whether it's a phone call, email, written letter, you send them a gift, like really just cover somebody up. That's the way to get through.
Do you have the like autonomy at your job to do whatever you want in order to get to that person? Because when I was started my job, sales job, phone calls, I wasn't allowed to search the internet, find the owner's email, and email them. Like I had to just make calls. If I continued to the gatekeeper, I would put that in the notes. GK gatekeeper, like
GK couldn't get through.
yeah, exactly. And we had a certain script for how to get to. And then, like in the notes, we would try to keep the corporate structure, find their name. And I think the higher up people might have like tried to search the internet. I wasn't allowed to do any of that stuff when I just started. But like
Got it.
like if you were trying to get to me, right? So you call,
Sure.
you Google United Monograms, my company. You get the phone number off Google. You call Sadia, my amazing customer service person, answers. She said, you say, let me, hey, like I'm interested in selling like some services or whatever. And like she says, oh, we're not interested. Like, and I think when I was doing it, the idea was to try to get the right person's name. So then once you find their name, then you can like now if you Google owner United Monograms, you could probably find my name. How much do you Google and how much do you try to get information through the gatekeeper?
A ton, a ton. With regards to Google, like, we'll do a lot of lead gen, like generating our own leads. So, like, very seldom will I ever make a phone call without actually having the guy's name. But dude,
Okay.
that gatekeeper can tell you exactly how to sell the person. You know what I mean? So, like, if she's not
How
allowing me to
so?
get through, yeah, well, I mean, she's in the business every day, right?
Yeah.
Totally. So like when I'm calling these people and if she's not allowing me to get through, I'll love on the gatekeeper. I'll stop
Uh,
exactly what I'm doing, not try to get to the guy. Like, hey, I know how important your buy-in and your influence is to a decision like this. You know, what's one thing that Sean would need to see to actually consider taking a look at it? Because last thing I want to do is actually waste Sean and yours time.
yeah.
And she'll tell you,
Yeah.
and she'll tell you, man. She'll tell you.
So here's the next question. We don't. I have a small company, and I'm using this as an example of me. We don't have like transfer calls because our customer service has an iPhone. Like, so she would give you my number, right? So say you got my number, You
Yeah.
call, random number, I don't answer. What's your next move there?
If you don't answer,
Yeah, I'm not gonna answer. It's a random number. I'm not gonna answer.
okay, good. I'm dropping you a voicemail letting you know I had an idea that I would love to share with you. You got to give me a call back. In addition to that, I'm going to send you a selfie video of me putting a face to the name so you don't think I'm some guy at a cold call center. In addition to that, I'm going to hit you.
You'll text me? You'll text me that video?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh,
And then
I've
in
never had
addition
anyone do
to
that to
that,
me.
yeah, exactly, man. It's a great separator. You got to get attention, right? So in addition
Yeah.
to that, I'm hitting you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Okay. That's once you got the name, dude. I mean, if you DM me on Instagram, that's a better chance I get back. Like I get DMs on LinkedIn a lot. I get DMs on Instagram a lot. And dude, I mean, I would love to like go into another universe and play this game where you say you could get me on the phone for a pitch because I don't think you could, man. I'm telling you. But like, well, it depends how good the service is. Actually, like if it's something I know I don't want, like literally I don't want it, like then your chances are probably 1%. If it's something I'm interested in, your chances are probably like 50%.
50% is high for me, man. It sounds like an easy sale.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
Cool.
And once you get me on the phone, that's where the skills come in. I believe you could probably close me if you got me on the phone. I think the hard
I
part would be
appreciate
getting
that.
me on the phone.
Yeah, yeah, and again, like you said, man, the easier they are to, harder they are to get to, so the easier
That's
they
right.
are to sell.
That actually makes sense. That didn't make sense at first, but now that's making sense.
No, I'm glad I could clear that up for you. But yeah, man, outside of that, just to kind of get back to my story of the position I'm in today. So really, where we last leave off, I believe I was selling for
You
the telecommunications.
telecommunications. Yep.
Mhm. So yeah, Grant Cardone had an ad up. I applied, couldn't get in, but this guy that messaged me back said there's actually an office in Canada, and you should reach out and see what happens. So I DM'd the president and CEO of Grant Cardone Canada, a gentleman named Corey, absolute legend, one of the greatest salespeople I ever met in my life, one of my mentors. So I DM him and I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna come make millions of dollars for you and your company. Big pitch. So that's your way to get in, is that big pitch, right? So hit him with the big pitch. Read no answer. So I'm like, oh fuck. 2 days go by. A director of sales named Morgan Walls, another one of my members, look to that guy. DM it says, man, I'd like to get an interview. So I'm like, oh my god, like it's on now, it's on, right? So dude, 4 interviews later, like they were having me role play on the calls like all day, nervous as fuck every time. 4 interviews later, dude, I get the job. Like, yep, we want to give you the offer,
Nice.
let's roll. So I get out of the position I'm capped at. I got a new opportunity living in Newfoundland, so furthest East Coast. If any of you guys don't know about Newfoundland, furthest point East Coast,
That's
furthest
like
province.
it's east of Maine, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like way out there. Yeah, yeah.
Way out there, dude. Small little
And you
province,
said at
500,000.
Vancouver above Seattle, so very far from you.
It's coast to coast, like furthest east, furthest west, dude. I packed my
Yep.
life up in a suitcase, drove the bitch 7 days, just drove.
You drove?
Drove for 7 days, man.
Love it. Across Canada,
Yeah,
man. That's
man.
probably beautiful. It's probably beautiful.
It was an unbelievable drive, and it was funny because that was at a time when everything was really shut down. Never was at home complaining this or that. I was like, dude, what a
It's
better
like last
time to just,
year.
yeah, exactly. Like, dude, what a better time to just get out, you know? So I got over to Vancouver, jumped in with the Cardone team, and yeah, man.
It's awesome. We got a question here for you.
What's up?
It says, do you see what I put the comments popping up on the screen?
Oh, our guy Patrick Reese.
Yeah. He said, where do you see yourself in 5 years, Nick? Now, I'm gonna lead you into this. Like the
Okay.
one thing Grant Cardone, honestly, is like, you probably like him more than I do. Cause like I love all these people. I know all these people. I know Grant Cardone. You know who Brad Lee is?
I
He's like,
believe so. Bigger
he's like
gentleman,
kind of,
a little bit of a beard.
yeah, exactly. I had him on my podcast before.
Nice.
But the 10x rule is about imagine what you can accomplish and then just think 10 times bigger. That's essentially the core of the book, right?
That's a great question. Yeah, very like yes. Really, what 10x means to me is 10x is a multiplier. So the biggest reason why, again, businesses fail, people fail, is simply the underestimation of time, energy, and effort. So typically, it has nothing to do with the script, nothing to do with the person, nothing to do with the product. Maybe it could, maybe it does. But I simply think it's, again, it's the underestimation of time, energy, and effort. So Grant Cardone says, hey, set a goal, set a target. What you think it's going to take to accomplish that, set out to do 10 times more than that. So like anytime I sit down, I'm not doing $10, I'm doing $100. Anytime I send a text message, I'm not doing 10 text messages, I'm doing 100. So to me, 10x is a multiplier. Even though you may fall short on that goal, I'd rather fall short on a 10x goal than fall short on just a normal goal. Would you agree?
I would agree. So
Totally,
where do you
man.
see
So that
yourself?
again,
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years from now, again, I would say still directing, still being a partner at this company, blowing myself up. So really, I'm like really just looking at, how do I open up more flows of income now, and really just almost in a sense treat myself as the business, treat myself as the brand, and really blow up my own name. So again, being a partner at this company, blowing up this company, really right. We're hitting about 400K or 500K every single month. So we're looking to build this to a $100 million company.
I believe that's called an intrapreneur. Is that
That's
right?
exactly
Do you know
right.
that word?
That's
You're an
that's exactly
entrepreneur.
right.
I
Entrepreneur.
respect
I
that.
was actually
I
just
respect that.
introduced to that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Hmm. I was just introduced to that concept yesterday. I'm reading a book called Your Next Five Moves by Patrick Bet-David, and he's just starting to talk about.
Had him on my podcast. Love him. Like he's probably one of my top 5 favorite people like right now. And I just
Yeah,
had this guy.
he's a legend.
I had a podcast before this, and it was one of the guys from his podcast. Love Patrick Bet-David. I'm reading the book too. I got 8 copies of it.
Really?
Oh yeah, that's actually how I got him on my podcast. I bought 8 copies of his book.
Yeah, I noticed you just put up a challenge. He's like, hey man, if you read this book, DM it to me, and then we'll actually jump on a call together. So I'm actually joining that contest. I'm gonna try to get him on a call.
That's very early in the book is talking about intrapreneur.
Yeah, literally just started reading it last night, man. About 10
Okay.
pages in.
So I said it was early in the book. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
So
early.
like intrapreneur, like I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, but like intrapreneur, do mad respect. Like it's actually probably smarter, probably less like, dude, entrepreneur is like, fuck. Like it's so hard. Entrepreneur, you have a little more, you can do the best of like what you're good at. And
Yeah,
like
exactly.
someone can handle, like accounting. I hate accounting. Like taxes. I gotta be in charge of that stuff. Like I hate that stuff. Like,
Yeah,
but that's what
you're really wearing
entrepreneur.
both entrepreneurs. Yeah, again, that's what works for me. Like, there's many things I don't know, but what I do know, I know well. So really, I just leverage the skills that I have, and luckily, one of those skills is learn how to make, bring in a lot of money, high income. I can throw a lot of I can throw a lot of money at my weaknesses. Wherever I'm
If,
extremely weak, hey, I can throw a lot of money there.
if you had
Right?
if you could set your calendar all day long and like have everything you don't want handled, what would be the one thing you're doing? Making calls?
Absolutely, absolutely. Grant Cardone has the saying that a full pipeline cures all problems. Like if your pipeline is so big and so robust and it's just bursting with deals, dude, there's nothing else. There's nothing else you need because that's going to solve all problems.
You have
Now I
to
leave.
have
Go ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead. All right, you gotta have to be the one skill that I love and respect and learn from door to door in my first job with the phone calls is like you get rejected a lot. And like
Mhm.
a lot of people can't handle that. They just can't handle it. They just don't, and that's fine. Everyone is do your own thing. So if this is your
Tell me about it, man.
specialty
I got reps leaving on me left, right, and center. I know they can't handle it.
and it doesn't bother you,
What if I get it?
if you get rejected, if you make calls all day, but you get just turned down, turned down, turned down, turned down, doesn't bother you?
I have nothing on it. It means nothing to me. It did. It used to
Exactly.
kill me, man. But not only does that not affect me in business and on the phones, but it doesn't affect me in life. And what I think happens over time is like when you're really pushing out high activity, like for example, if any rep comes into my company, and I do this as well, if you're not doing 200 dials a day, 4 hours of talk time, you don't work for us, right? So really, we do that to really get somebody grooved in. And what happens over time? Did you ever hear someone refer to like, "Hey, he's pushing your buttons"?
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
over time, like almost in a sense, your buttons, like so many objectives hit it, you just become flat, and like really, just you have nothing on it. You're just ready to handle it and move on. If they hang up
Yeah.
on, dude, if they hang up on me, I'm off that task. That cycle's over. I'm on to the next.
It takes a lot of mental strength to be able, like, rejection is hurtful. And like, I mean, I don't give a fuck either. I don't care about
It's the way to be.
anything, anything that is bad. Like, I acknowledge it. I try to maybe make an observation or learn, but I just don't give a fuck. I've actually
Mm-hmm.
even learned that over time, as I've been analyzing myself. Um, how old are you?
22.
You're young as shit. You're young as shit.
Yeah,
I'm older than you.
young as shit. Yeah.
Um,
How old are you?
I I'm 32, dude. I'm 32. But I feel like I always say I feel like
Yeah.
I'm 24. And I mean, and the only time that age is embarrassing to me is if you aren't doing well for your age. So like, I'm sorry I'm 32. It's not my fault. I was born at that time. But like, I own a $3 million warehouse. Like I've done 20 million in sales. Like my business is going great. So I'm not ashamed to be 32. I am. But
Right.
I feel young. I feel really fucking young. But like, what I was saying was, what was I saying? I was talking about the feeling of rejection. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
like it hurts. It sucks. It's like something that a lot of people can't deal with. And like I remember I was gonna say, as
Okay,
I
we
look
got it.
back at my life, I noticed that I've taken this to the extreme, not being hurt by negative situations. And I actually asked like a psychologist about this, not like someone on my podcast, not like someone I go to.
Okay.
My
Okay.
brain, my brain erases negative memories. Like
Mm.
my friend Nico, we were in college together, and I was 21. He's like 3 months younger than me. It was his 21st birthday. Apparently, like these cops followed us, and like I was talking shit to him, and they like tackled us and put us on the ground and let us go or something. And he told me about it
Okay.
like last year, and I don't remember it. I literally like I searched the depths of my mind, and I have no memory of it. And that's happened to me so many times. I don't even have to ask my brain to do it anymore. My brain just erases negative memories because the attitude that you have, I've had it for so long that
Yeah.
like my brain just started to do it for me. And like screw like something bad happens. Okay, what should you do? Sit around and cry about it? Or should you just move on to the next thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, move on to the next thing, right? And like,
Yep.
if it's all this time happens and you need to reevaluate your career or your life or something, then do that. But like,
Mm.
if you are know you're what you're doing is the right thing, and you get something bad that happens, then who cares? That's the attitude you need, right?
Yeah, it's just like, man, on to the next, you know. And one thing I live by, and I'd like to share this with you and anyone like watching this. This is one thing. If you are, taking any notes, I recommend write this down. Is take control for everything. Because like, regardless if it's your fault or not, it's like if you can take control for that, you can control the outcome. I live by a saying that control equals income. So the more you control, the more you can actually, again, control the outcome of that result. So whether or not if it's directly your fault or not, if you're not in control of it, if you don't take responsibility for it, then you're on the defense, and essentially you're a
All
victim.
right. What if you're going to a job interview and you get attacked by a gang of motorcycle people who grab you, take you out of your car, and lock you in their basement?
Yep, 100% my
Is
fault, man. I should have left 10 minutes earlier. Something I did.
Yeah, that's the right answer. That's the right
Yep,
answer. Yep.
yep. Should have
It's
left
my
10 minutes
fault.
earlier,
Fuck.
man.
Uh,
Dude,
Yeah, man.
uh, dude, where I am today on this podcast with Sean, dude, everything I've done before that put me in the exact position I'm in right now.
And you have to take responsibility. That's so
You have
powerful.
to.
That's so powerful. Like if it's raining and I can't see you and I'm driving, I'm like, God damn it, it's my fault. I don't know how. It's definitely not my fault, but
But
I should have brought umbrella or so. I don't know.
yeah,
Like
dude.
it's so like it feels good. It feels good to just have everything be your fault. Cause then it's just like, all right. I can't be mad because what am I gonna punch myself? Like, it's my fault. It's just I gotta take responsibility. It's so powerful.
Yep, it absolutely is. It is. But again, it just keeps you in the driver's seat for everything, right?
A lot of people like to blame people. It's easy. It's easy to blame someone else,
Mhm.
right? It's just
Absolutely,
easier.
dude.
Like, not for me, but for most people.
Yeah. The
Why
blame
is
the
that?
blame game is easy because really it's the easy way out, and no one wants to confront the hard truth. You know.
Do you think like all right, like we're going bigger picture here, like
Sure.
America, like like the political world, just like uh blaming like other people for your problems, like two parties, like Canada, like how has Canada been with like America is like, they say we're like divided right now. It's like COVID and left versus right and Trump. Like, do you get the same vibe? Is Canada like, does that type of that spread over to Canada? Is there a left and right in Canada? Is there or is it different?
What do you mean when you say different?
Like America, you're paying attention to like politics. People say, and I don't necessarily agree. People
To,
say
to,
like
to be
the
to be frank with you, before we really go down this path,
yeah,
politics is not something I'm really
dude.
involved with at all. To be honest with you.
And that's great. That's great. Like, that's how it should be. Like, people just say, yeah, and, like, I guess maybe, like, I am a little older and, like, you pay attention to that shit a little more, but, like,
Mhm.
I don't care. But, like, that's the right attitude, not to care. But people just say, like, we're divided and we fight each other. Like, if you like Trump or don't like Trump or, like, stuff like that. Like, I'm wondering if that's spreads to Canada. And what about, like, the whole COVID? Like, situation? Like, are you guys masked up? Are you out of the office? Like, how is all that going in Canada?
It's not too bad here in Vancouver. Everything seems like it's almost in the sense that Vancouver is the province that seems to lead the charge, and others will follow after that. Again, that's my opinion. There's not a ton of facts behind that, but from observation, that's certainly how it seems.
Dude,
Um,
I love that because if you're just observing the world, everything's great. Like, if you watch the news, then it's like, "Ah, the world's terrible." But if you're just
yeah.
living life, looking around, seeing people "Oh, yeah, I'll throw a mask on, whatever." Like, just be like, life is good if you're just, like, doing what you're doing, not paying attention
Mhm.
to politics or the world. Just, like, focus on your day-to-day life and what matters to you. Like, that's the
Yeah.
truth. That's the truth of what's going on. It's what's going on around you and with your eyes.
Yeah,
And it's pretty
yeah,
good in
exactly,
that
man.
sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, there's a formula for a great attitude, and it stems from everything you observe every day. You know what I mean? So like really I always do this. I have an exercise every Sunday. First I'll look at my money. Am I on pace to hit my money? But the second thing I'll look at is counter intention. And like say my goal is to hit, I have a goal this year. I'm going for seven figures in earnings. And I always look at constantly is, hey man, what is holding me back from hitting this? Is there anybody in my life? Is there any piece of data? Is there anything I'm looking at that I need to cut and take away? And really,
Dang.
what that will do is that will allow me again to have such a great attitude because in order to say something, in order to do something, I need to think it first. You agree?
Oh, 100%.
Exactly. So the thought again stems from your surroundings. So really, just controlling my environment.
Dude, that's like and honestly, like, you're 22, like, it's so simple, and, like, it's that simple forever. But, like, as people get older, they, like, start to think they need to care about what's going on. Like, no, that. Just control your own surroundings. Just look at the world around you and judge it based on that. Think for yourself.
Yep.
And just, like, it's pretty good if you do that. It's always pretty good. Like, everyone around you is, like, awesome. Then you watch the news and they're like, "Oh, the world sucks." But you're just like, "No, it's actually pretty good. Like, look around me. Like,
that's
it's
that's
awesome."
actually a good time.
Yeah, it's a great time, dude. Oh, man, dude. What else, what's besides for sales and, everything you're doing, like, you said on Sundays you do that work. That says something about you. But,
Appreciate
like,
that.
bes of course, man, I love that. But working on the weekends, you gotta do that, dude. I mean, what else are you gonna do? But that's my other question, like, what else interests you? Like, what else what do you think about besides for sales? Anything?
Nothing. I'm kidding.
Nothing.
Obviously, man. Obviously. Dude, and it may sound cliche, but there's like a girl I have in my life now who takes up a lot of my attention, my energy, my focus, and again, that's something
Ah,
I
yeah.
devote a lot of, that's something I'm working on consistently. But to be honest with you, man, like, I used to play basketball. I love fitness. I love staying in shape. But again, I do it all for one reason. I don't want to be just like that guy with that one thing that all he talks about. But dude, for me, like, freedom is the battle cry. And I'm willing to do all that fun shit. Like I enjoy partying. I enjoy getting on a podcast and having a Stella and throwing out. Like I love that. And I used to do a lot of it in high school. I used to love partying, and I still do. But the thing is like, dude, when I want to celebrate, when I want to relax, I want to do it on my own jet. Like for me, freedom is the battle cry. So like, if you ask me what I'm interested in, anything outside of like hustle, grit, investing, keeping my surroundings good, it's not much, man. It's not much. It's just
Fuck
that
yeah,
one
dude.
thing.
That is incredibly healthy.
Absolutely.
You got what you care about, your money, your job, your career, a girl, fitness, and some partying. Those are the only things you care about. That is so healthy.
And of course the family, man. I do it all to take care of the family. But again, like, it really is
You're
like,
22. What do you mean? Your parents and your siblings?
of course, man. They had to put up with my shit for 22 years, man. The least I could do is, you know, get my mom her own house or something, right?
Yeah, everyone always says that. Like, you're actually gonna buy your mom a house.
Probably not a house. Probably not a house. I don't know if I'd
Just
ever
get
buy a
her
house,
like
to be honest, but
a little miniature house. Oh, really? You're not a you don't like the idea of buying a house?
not overly. We can dig into that, but back to back to my mother. Really, anything. Really, just have her travel the world with me. Just be free. And that's
Right, of course. That's like I love that. Like, do something great for your mom. Actually, now that I think about it, my mom always wanted me to buy her a beach house one day, and I'm like, huh. Now, here's the thing: I could buy it. It's like a real estate investment,
right.
and let her live there. You know, if she leaves, maybe I rent it out or whatever. And then, like, have my mom live off into the sunset, and then like I still own it. Like that's so it's like you do something great for your mom, and it's a good real estate investment.
Yeah, exactly.
Win
It's a
win.
win-win,
It's a win
right?
win.
For sure, man.
Yeah,
But yeah,
dude.
I'm gonna keep going back to this because this is something I do want to tell. Is this story to the position I'm in today? It's almost wrapped up, but again, working for Grant Cardone, and that's where I developed the skill. Like that's where I really learned to hone in and have this attitude that I have now. And from there, man, I was hitting the dials every day, pulling in as much as I could. And
The
so there's two
DAS?
offices,
What's that?
the dials.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
there's two offices. There's one in Canada. There's one in the States. And the U.S. signed up this company called Cormier Media, and actually connected with some of the executives there on LinkedIn at this marketing company. And I'm like, holy shit, like hitting these guys up, talking to them, and I was like, you know what? Because we live by a saying like service is senior than selling. And I was like, I genuinely just want to help these people out. They're young, they're like me, they have their own business, they signed up for Cardone U. Like, let me help out these kids. So I start giving them as much value for free as I can. Just like, hey, here's a free sales meeting, here's some free data, here's some audio books, give it to your team. And they called me one day and like, dude, Nick, we are crushing it on this Cardone University. We're crushing it. We actually want to fly out to Vancouver to come meet you. They're over in Manitoba, a couple provinces over, right?
Nice.
So like, I'm like, cool, let's do it. So they fly in. Again, we party for like a week. Just, I'll go have a good time. And when they fly back, I was like, I didn't want to work for them, but I was like, dude, I would love to do something with them in the future. Like I see something with these guys because they're young kids, they're studs, they're like me, and their businesses, they're crushing it. So they go back home, and I'm still training these guys. I'm still helping them out. And then they called me one day. They're like, look, Nick, we want you on the team. We have a great opportunity for you, and do we want to bring you in? So I go to my mentor. I call up one of my mentors. He actually owns a solar company in California. I'm like, dude, I got this offer, man. What do you think? And what I like about him is he's not biased. He just looks at something as a kind of like a bird's eye view and says, hey, here's the situation. Here's what we should do. And he helped me out, man. And he was like, look, he gave me this piece of advice, and it really was an eye opener. I live by this. He's like, you either leverage the vehicle you're in or you get leverage by the vehicle.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I was like, it's like interesting. So we said, look at Cardone's and really look at, are you being leveraged or did you leverage the vehicle? And I was really thinking, like, dude, I was really there to build a skill set. And not to say that I developed the full skill set yet, but I feel like I learned enough to at least be able to continue my growth in sales and in success. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So really, after
Yeah.
that was a deciding factor, man. And I took the position, going for 7 figures
Yeah.
this year. Company's
Dude, and
trying
you
to
love
crack
it.
10
And you
million.
love
We're
it.
rolling. We're
And it's a
rolling.
good product. It's a good product, I'm assuming. Because that's what's the most
Absolutely.
important in sales. So that's great. That's great. Like that helps sales is having something good to sell.
Mhm.
And dude, so you said, what was that quote about leverage? It said you either say that quote about leverage again.
Absolutely. So either you're leveraged by the vehicle or you leverage the vehicle. So meaning an employer is leveraging you by you becoming a slave for the company, or you leverage the vehicle, whether that's monetary through money or through skill set or whatever it is you're looking to get from there.
Yeah. And like,
Yep.
dude, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the beauty of an entrepreneur. I can't leave my company. It's like be leaving my kid, you know? But
Yeah.
like I could sell it or something like that. But dude, that's great. That's great. Like you're a smart dude. You're a smart dude. You figured that shit out. And like now you said in 5 years you think you'll still be here because like you like what you're doing and you have a ramp for growth. You have opportunity for growth and you feel like that.
Yep.
And who knows, maybe you'll
Absolutely, man.
leverage it. Maybe you'll leverage it into something else.
Yeah, we'll see. But again, like I'm a partner at the company. I'm involved in all the decisions to really,
All
get this
right.
company to
That's
the next level.
What does
So
that mean? What does
that,
that
that
mean to be a like? I think I know, but I'm asking you. Like, what does it mean to be a partner at your company?
to be a partner at my company, there's an
Yeah.
executive of 4 people, and really what it means to be a partner at our company is again everything, any decision for the company is discussed between the 4 of us, and it's all decided on collectively as a group.
Okay.
But to
So you're
be
just
to
like
be a
a
partner,
high level.
high level, exactly, and like to be a partner at this company, you always have something new to bring to the table. Um, You know what I mean? Like there's a reason we're in a
Yeah.
position we're in, and we're always very cognizant about, hey, who's around us, who's contributing to our graph going up, and who's not. So like aside from the business itself, especially the executive team and my reps, um, again, always have them focused on self-development and getting better and having something new to bring to the table.
You have to fire people.
Yeah, it's tough. I just
Yeah.
watched Donald Trump for a day. They sit down. I'm like, hey, dude, you've been doing great. Pack your shit, get the fuck out of your. No, I don't hit him with that. How about
Firing
you?
people
You ever
sucks.
fire people?
Yeah, I've
Sucks.
fired tons of people, dude. Tons of people. Like probably like I've probably had to have someone come to my desk and fire them like 12 times, maybe more. Sometimes it's like if it's early on, it can just be like a text. If it's like the first 3-4 days, like it's
Right.
not working out. But if they've been there, that's like a true firing. Someone who doesn't want to go, and you want them to go, and then you have to sit down and talk to them. Like that is tough. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Who doesn't? I mean, I don't get joy from it, but you got to do it. Like you're making the right decision. And honestly, you can justify it by being like, well, if that person is should be fired, like they're not gonna have a career here anyway. Like they're not gonna
Mm.
we're doing the best thing for them in a way. And maybe that's just me justifying it. But like I don't fire people because I've never actually this one girl was like kind of stealing. That one was easy. But like the other people, like it's just like you kind of aren't doing you're not like if
You're
someone's
kind of
not
just
doing
you're just not it, you know.
if someone's not doing well, the first thing isn't to fire them. The first thing is to help them do better.
Yep.
And then you go through that once or twice or 3 times, and then it's
Hmm.
like, all right, there's only one option here. Like, God damn it! Like we played it
And it's
out. Like,
yeah, and it's tough, man, because like if you go back to like, hey, I take full responsibility for everything. Like, dude, I think the guy that I think I'm more beat up after I fire somebody than the guy walking out of the office because I'm like, dude, I just led that guy to failure.
dude, yeah. I sit there for a couple minutes. I'm just like, then I'm like, all right, let's go. I'm like, whatever. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
all right, next.
happy we did it. Like that was actually
Yeah.
nice. That's actually like nice because that's what I needed to do. And it was like helps the
Hmm.
company. What makes Grant Cardone so special to you?
You know what I love so much about Grant Cardone? It's not so much. Like, don't get me wrong, he has gold when it comes to sales. But dude, he's a fucking master of marketing and getting attention. Like, he lives by a saying, dude. It's like money follows attention. He's like, I'd rather have 100,000 people hate me than not know me.
Is
Like,
that why you want to come on? Is that why you want to come on these podcasts?
Dude, 1,000%, man. That's why I'm here. Like,
Yeah, of
I was
course.
reading it this morning. He was like, if it doesn't contribute to the whole world knowing me, at the time, I believe there was 6 billion people in the world when he wrote the book. We're at 7 now, right?
I think 8.
Well, fuck me.
I don't know.
But in the
I
book, he
never
says,
I never counted. I never counted.
he said, my goal is to have 6 billion people, when they hear Grant Cardone, they think of sales training, they think of success. And like, that essentially is omnipresence. Omnipresence in the definition is almost a state of being everywhere. So if you
Law
look at
number
like the
6.
greatest,
Law number 6, the 48 laws of power. Court attention at all costs.
nice. And like, if you look at the greatest companies in the world, just give me any of them. Apple, everywhere. McDonald's,
Uber.
one on every street corner. Uber, everywhere. They've attained omnipresence. So like, yeah, like it may not be, in a sense, it may not be attainable, but that's what I'm reaching for every day. Is everybody knows my name.
Love it. Ubiquitous. That means like it applies to everybody. Dude, I love that. Like Grant Cardone, he's like, some people don't like him, and that's fine because court attention at all costs. Like, he's a little. Did you ever see the fight that he had with
I know where
Jordan
this is
Belfort,
going.
the Wolf of Wall Street?
Dude,
I
you know
actually
how
like.
often I get that?
Hold up, real quick. Here, I don't even remember exactly the details. I just know that they fought two powerhouses in sales fighting. Now that I think about it on the top of my head, I can't even remember what they fought about, which is court attention at all costs. But go ahead.
Yeah, I do. I don't have much of a take on it. With that being said, you could listen to Jordan Belfort. Build a great company.
What were
Unethical.
they fighting? What were they fighting over?
Um,
I think
Again, I didn't really.
it was about like how long to call a dead lead after it's something like that. Like Jordan Belfort was saying, I forget which one was which is so
Yeah, I know
that's actually
Jordan was talking about like not interested is not interested, and Cardone is like not
not
interested is
interest is a
still
level of interest.
it is a level of interest. Of course it is.
You think
Because it goes
so?
like
That's what
this.
Grant said?
Dude, of course, man. They didn't know you before that call. Like, look,
Yeah. I don't
I
have
don't
a
know
I don't
you.
have a I don't have a side. I just not interested is a level of interest.
Absolutely, man.
Okay.
Dude, they don't know
What
you. They don't know you. I'm not interested. It's above not knowing you.
What about if they're not in need for what you're selling? Is that not interested or is that a different category?
Well, that all depends. I mean, that it's funny because in that podcast, Grant Cardone talks about multiple things having to sell to people. Dude, I have an artillery of like 15 different products. So yeah, dude, maybe social media management isn't a fit for you right now, but hey, Sean, how about we get you in 10 articles of press and blast your podcast everywhere? You know what I mean?
Right. Right. So if you have a good enough product as a salesperson, then maybe you just got to pivot and try to sell something else.
Yeah.
So
The real thing is like, dude, people only do a deal to solve a problem. Like, that's all we're doing, man. We're just pitching to find a problem. We're trying to show a business owner, here's a problem, here's our solution. We live by something called the DBM. It's a dominant buying motive. Only reason someone does a deal is to solve a problem.
yeah, makes sense. And that's why if you get them on the phone, that's the heart of the art to get on the phone. If they eventually pick it up, they got that problem. Like I will reach out to people sometimes. I get a bunch of emails, a bunch of cold shit, and like I would say 1 out of 100, I'll be like, yeah, I'm interested, and I literally just email back, yeah, I'm interested, and then like sometimes the call won't like end up happening, but like I am interested, and that's a problem I am having, and I'm interested in learning more about it. And if there's a salesperson that could get me, I'm open, and I've spent money on things in the past that weren't even that good. That just I
Yeah.
had a problem. I was looking for a fix to it, and I spent some money on it. Dude, who are some other people that you admire?
Other people that I admire, Grant Cardone is definitely one of them. Kevin Hart, definitely another guy I admire. Patrick Bet-David, I'm falling more and more in love with his
Dude,
content,
he's
what he's putting out there.
awesome.
He's
Awesome.
cool as well. Aside from that, man, I like to really be selective about who I follow, and I always try to study the source. What I mean to that is like the source of it. Like if I'm studying investment, dude, I'm going right to Warren Buffett. I'm going to the source. If I'm studying sales training, I'm going to right to Grant Cardone because I believe he's the source. Is there other data out there? Absolutely. But sometimes I find that can almost conflict one another. He's saying this, he's saying this. And if I'm gonna be wrong, dude, I'm gonna be wrong by the source. I'm gonna put all my
Fair
faith
enough.
into one guy.
Who's your favorite Canadian person of all time?
That's a great question, man. Favorite Canadian person of all time? So I'll probably have to go with Steve Nash, dude. Probably have to go with Steve Nash.
Steve Nash, a baller, dude. I love Steve
Baller, dude.
Nash.
He's like
And
me,
he
dude.
also,
I'm like fucking 5'8". I play point guard. He played point guard. So,
so you think you'll get any NBA MVPs?
do you think I will?
It's a little too late for you. Is there a
A little too
Canadian
late.
basketball league? Is there a Canadian basketball league?
There is.
Is anyone interested in it?
Dude, absolutely, man. And dude,
Yeah?
not only that, it's a great place for recruiters and stuff like that because they're scouting a lot of people that go into the NBA. Look at who the Canadians just came over recently. Andrew Wiggins got in. There was a recent number one
Well,
pick, went
he
to
never
Cleveland
played. He
Cavaliers.
never played in that. He never played in that league, though.
He didn't play in the
Did he?
league, but not I believe so.
I never heard. Is it called the CBL, Canadian Basketball League? I never heard of it. I've heard of the CFL. I've heard of the Canadian Football League.
I'd have to search it up for you.
Is there a Canadian Hockey League?
Come on, man.
Seriously, is there? Because there's the NHL. I'm assuming there's a Canadian version. It's just like it's always like I mean, dude, it's not you. I was just like it's always like leading up to the American ones, like the big time, right?
Mhm.
What's Canada? What's Canada's like best thing in the world?
Greatest thing
What's
in the
like
world.
what's the best thing about Canada from Canada? Number one.
Number one thing in Canada. Honestly, dude, I'd have to take it back to the people. The
I
Canadian culture is something is you won't get it anywhere else. People are so genuine, so loving, so caring. Again, not to say there's still not some pricks out there in the world. You're gonna find them everywhere, but I think the general masses really just care for one another, and it's nice, man. It's a nice place to be. Nice place to be around.
yeah, that's different than America. That is nice. That is nice. I'm just going on. I got another question. Like,
Let's
all
hear
right,
it.
so this way that you do sales, I completely understand. I know like what it is. So I used to do that. Now I changed, and I like the way that I do sales, which is e-commerce, which is
Hmm.
I don't ever have to call anybody. Like
I like that.
I build an audience, I run ads, I post links in front of the audience. Here's my one of my favorite things that if I were going to defend e-commerce selling over phone call selling, which is
Hmm.
basically B2C versus B2B. I would say my favorite thing is that I can wake up in the morning and check like my sales while I was sleeping because like it's ongoing, you know? Like I love now it's so different. When I had Brad Lee on my podcast who him and Grant Cardone did this big thing together. Like Brad Lee's like the minor Grant Cardone, like the B version. I asked him about e-commerce and he didn't even understand my question. Like he thinks so much like you in the selling is so different with the way you guys do it versus how I do it. Like I still sell every day. I'm obsessed over my sales. Obsessed.
Yep.
Like I'm obsessed over my sales. Like I'm gonna go. What do you think my sales are today? Guess. Let's see. Guess. I mean, you have no perspective, so just guess.
Mm, what in revenue or what in profit or
Revenue,
what? Revenue.
revenue.
I'd say 150,000.
Oh damn, dude. I fucking wish, dude. No, I have no $11,752 is my revenue today. We did like
That's
6 million last year, so that's like it's like 15,000. What is that? I don't know. 20,000 a day would be 6 mil. 20,000 times like 365. It's a little over 6 million, 7 million, 7 million. So like
that's
$20,000 a day is good, but it's like here's the thing. All right, so we have $11,000, almost $12,000 in sales, but that's 248 orders. Like that's so many orders, you know? Like if you got 248 orders in a day, like you'd be fucking rich right off the bat. Like,
Rich as
right? Am I
fuck.
right? Exactly. And
Absolutely.
like, yeah, exactly. And like it's so different. And like right now I can see that like 70 people are shopping on my website. Like, and if 3 of them place an order for $20, it's like, all right, that's great. But what about the next minute? It's like the way I do sales and the way you do sales, they're both sales. We're both obsessed
Yep.
over them, but they're so different. They're so different.
There
Don't
is,
you
man.
think?
It's absolutely, man. Completely different world. What I like so much about the position I'm in is again the sales I'm in. Obviously, it's a lot more difficult. I would say maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but it's a
It's
monthly reoccurring.
higher. Each sale is more. Oh, okay.
Go ahead, continue.
Reoccurring. I was gonna say like you get more per sale than I do, of course, but the reoccurring,
It's the
that's big.
monthly
That's powerful.
reoccurring that's huge, man. It's huge because if you pop, let's say you do 2, 3 clients a week, and each one of those guys are paying you 2K a month. Okay, after the expense to the business, whatever you're getting in reoccurring, I mean, once you're 6, 7 months in the business, you can build your reoccurring to 100K a month before you sell anything.
And you don't have to do anything.
Nothing, dude. So like you're talking
Yeah,
about making
I was
money
just
while you
talking about
sleep.
making money while you sleep, Jinx.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, dude. So like at the end of the month, I can look at my account and be like, "Ah, oh, Susie didn't pay, but the rest of them did. Good. I'm sitting on whatever, right?"
That's and that obviously you're so young. As you get older, like that builds up. Like that's actually probably the best part about what you do versus what I do, even though we do
Mm-hmm.
the same thing, sell people. Um, and the other thing is like the way that I sell, it's like interrupts your timeline on social media. You have to interrupt someone's time in like real life. And I do what all right, I'm selling someone my product. It's a pretty picture of a girl on Instagram or Facebook. You sell you and your voice and like someone's phone call because you're talking to a business owner. Like, I guess I'm
So what
just like,
I'm pitching you. Is that what you mean?
it's no, I'm just, it's so different. What me and you
Oh
do is
yeah, yeah,
and I'm just like processing it in my head right now. It's crazy how different what we do is, even though we both are obsessed with sales.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, it went up $100 since I last looked. Like, I probably had like 3, 4 orders. Like,
Yeah.
I had 3 orders in the last
And then
20,
on my
30.
end, I got like 15 agreements out right now that I'm just waiting to come
Yeah,
back.
waiting for that to come back. Dude,
Yeah,
they're
waiting for it to
both
come back.
great. They're both great. And I
Yep.
guess here's my point.
Let's hear it.
And I don't have like this isn't like a profound. It's just like the truth. It's like B2B sales and B2C e-commerce sales have nothing to do with each other as far as the skill set.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Yes. I
It's
would agree with
crazy.
that statement.
I mean, it's crazy. They're both sales.
Yep.
It's just so different. It's wild. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're interested in sales and you're listening to this and you are interested in sales, you love the idea of checking your money, checking your revenue, going after it. Like, think, which one do you want to do? Because they're entirely, if we switch jobs tomorrow,
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'd be
like,
lost.
I'd have a fighting chance, but I'd be
Yeah,
lost
you would.
too.
Yeah.
Of course I would. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. Duh. All right. We're kind of
Yeah,
getting
it's
towards
wild,
the end
man.
here. We're getting towards the end here, but why don't you ask me any random question?
Any random question.
Yeah. No rules.
How much money are you gonna make this year? That's the hardest questions, man.
Revenue or bottom line?
I'll go revenue.
All right. Revenue, I'm hoping to get to 7 million.
Let's
Now, see, it's
go.
so funny because I had this guy in my pocket, he's like a financial advisor or whatever, or like a financial like books expert, and he was saying everyone likes to talk about the revenue, but no one likes to say what they made on the bottom line because like
No, it
it's like
does. No, it does.
personal or whatever.
Yeah,
Last year I
yeah,
made like 211,000. I think the year before I made a little more. This year it's probably going to be less, even though my revenue will be higher because I bought a $3 million building and I have a big
yeah.
staff And like, dude, I care way more about my revenue than I do about my profit, because like that's the thing about entrepreneur. Like, I'm building for the future. Like, and I'm putting this time into all my podcasting stuff, which I'm making no money on. But
Right.
I kind of like, the personal branding element, and then like it could be something, and like I'm interested in, if I could build a content company, we could produce commercials or content for my, like, I'm in the, I used to be in my mom's basement. I had no idea what I was doing, and I built this company to where it is now. And like,
Good for
as
you,
far
man.
as like this media company, this podcasting stuff, though, I'm like basically at that stage. I'm just like,
Right.
I'm doing it. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out like exactly what it is. Here's the thing. I love doing this. What we're doing right now, it's just fun. It's just
Yeah,
fun.
this is
I'm having,
this is my first time on a podcast, so I appreciate it,
yeah.
man. Yeah, it is fun, man. And, a great
Technically, it's not
thing
a
is
podcast, though. I gotta say, technically, it's not a
the YouTube
podcast,
Live.
but it counts.
What would you call this thing, man? What would you call it? A YouTube Live? What
I
would
would
it
call
be?
this Drink and Grow Rich.
Oh man.
It's essentially a podcast, but it's not my podcast. Like, this isn't. I have episode 108 that I recorded earlier today. This isn't count towards that. This is Drink and Grow Rich, so it's a little different.
Okay, I
But yeah,
appreciate
dude,
that.
it's a fucking podcast.
Okay, good. So this is my first podcast, and I'm taking credit
Yeah.
for it. But
But
hey,
the
man,
next time
real
you go,
quick.
the next time you go on a podcast, you can say that it's your first podcast, just to kind of humor the guest a little bit.
Nah, I'd say you're the first, man. I'll give you a shout out. So
All
real
right.
quick before we jump off, I do appreciate your time. I know it's kind of your job to end it, so I assume anyway I'll let you end it off. But
Nah,
before
fuck
we
it.
jump
There's no
off,
rules.
any more? All right, dude. Any questions or anything for me before we roll?
Yeah, dude, you only drank fucking one beer.
Dude, I
Why
only
not
saw you
more?
sipping on one bit. I only saw you sipping
One.
on because I got to go
All
try to.
right.
I had to go grow that monthly recurring revenue, dude.
You're my second guest, like, on this show, because I've done it for like a year, like by myself on Fridays, and I answer questions and shit. And like, yeah, that's a very fucking valid point. You have work to do, and I'm just sitting here like, ending the day like this. But no, I don't have any more questions, man. I think you're fucking awesome. My favorite thing
Appreciate
about
that.
you is how, like, smart you are for your age, and also the fact that, like, I don't know about politics. Like, I'm telling you, that is a power in that. Like, there's a power in that. Like you are focused on the right things. You're focused on the right things. And on the side, even though I'm still taking your time up right now, you're also trying to build the personal brand on top of still going back on sales. You're smart. You have the right attitude. You have the right mindset, and you have the right skills. Now, all you need to do is just keep going every single day. And dude, by the time you're my age, you'll be almost as successful as me, and that'll be incredible.
I appreciate that, man. But hey, one can only dream to get to that stage. But look, man, I appreciate everything you're doing. I do appreciate the work you're doing. Appreciate you having me on here, man. Again, it was a delight talking to you. Again, hopefully we can make something happen. Maybe one time I could get on the actual formal podcast. But until then, man, let's make sure we stay in touch. Keep me updated on all your success, and I'll get one of these bad boys in your hands. Send me your information after this. I'll shoot it over your way.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll DM you right after this. And
Let's
this has been Drink and Grow Rich, the dumbest smart show on the internet. Thanks for listening, everyone. Peace
let's
out.
roll.